Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 460 days, Ukraine defends itself against the Russian invasion. Russia continued its now regular large-scale missile and drone strikes against Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities, reports Ukrainska Pravda. Several times Russia attacked during the night and the morning of May 29th. According to detailed information, the air defense forces destroyed 36 out of 40 missiles and 30 out of 38 Shahed unmanned aerial vehicles. In particular, during the day, the Russian forces launched 11 missiles, including ballistic, against Kyiv. All of them were destroyed. This night, Russia continued its attacks. Due to falling debris, a high-rise residential building, several private houses and cars in different parts of Kyiv caught fire. At least one person was killed, several others wounded. Local authorities informed that the two upper floors of the high-rise building were destroyed. People are under the rubble. The Khmelnytsky Oblast Military Administration in the western part of Ukraine informed that the Russian army struck a military facility in the region during the attack on the night of 28 to 29 May, reports Fakty. As a result, 5 aircraft were disabled. Fires broke out at fuel and lubricant warehouses and places where military material was stored. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky informed that he held a meeting of the staff. The participants discussed the supply of new air defense systems and missiles to them, relevant agreements with partners, the effectiveness of air defense and how to make it stronger, losses that took place. Commanders also informed on the supply of ammunition, training of new brigades, tactics, but also the timing. This is what is most important, the timing of how we will move forward. We will. The decisions have been made, said Zelensky. We would really appreciate if you could rate us, ideally with 5 stars, in the apps where you are listening to this podcast, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and others. This really helps more people to find the highlights from Ukraine and truth about Russia's invasion. Denmark plans to increase its spending on military aid to Ukraine by $2.6 billion this year and in 2024, reports Gardon UA. Prime Minister of Denmark, Mette Frederiksen, said that the war in Ukraine is now at a very critical moment. The situation on the battlefield is very serious and therefore Ukraine needs all the support it can get. According to him, the need for new funds arose because 70% of the fund has already been used. The President of Ukraine expressed gratitude to the Danish Parliament, the Danish government, and the people of Denmark for this decision. Since the beginning of the full-scale Russian invasion, the total amount of donations for the needs of the armed forces and to support humanitarian initiatives has reached $2.7 billion. Half of which Ukrainians have donated to the accounts of charitable funds, reports NVUA. The most popular channel for donations to the armed forces was the special account of the National Bank, which collected $680 million. The second and third places are occupied by the United 24 State Fund, $330 million, and the Come Back Alive Foundation, $190 million. The Serhiy Prytula Foundation collected $110 million. The Ukrainian parliament, the Verkhovna Rada, voted to make 8th of May the day of remembrance and victory over Nazism in Ukraine and to make it an official day off, reports Ukrainska Pravda. Earlier, President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the parliament with this legislative initiative. He noted then that it is on 8th of May that the greatness of the victory over Nazism is remembered by most of the world's nations, and it is on 8th of May 1945 that the unconditional surrender of the Wehrmacht took effect. It is also on the 8th of May that the world honors the memory of all those whose lives were taken by the war, not 9th of May as it was in the Soviet Union and is now in Russia. President Volodymyr Zelensky had a phone conversation with President of Turkey Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who won the election the day before, reports European Pravda. According to Zelensky, he noted Erdogan's personal role in continuing the Black Sea Grain Initiative, which is a significant component of world's food security. A brief message from the Turkish president's office indicated that Zelensky congratulated Erdogan on his victory in the elections, as well as discussed events in the Russian-Ukrainian war and regional issues. Early on Monday, the Turkish president held phone conversations with, among others, Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin and US President Joe Biden. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We are a commercial initiative of just two people, and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your help, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.